Welcome to Cooking While Drunk. Once again, I'm Tony. I am your drunk. No, you're drunk. Well, me too. Welcome. Tonight we're going to do meatballs in a marinara sauce. But first, we got to get our little sip on. Our little rosé. Every once in a while, you got to break out the cheapie. Otherwise, we'd blast through our supply within weeks. The little Southern Home rosé. It was on sale. It's not bad, it's not great, it's not the worst. It gets the job done. Throw it in the freezer, turn the bottle every, 10-15 minutes or so. It gets nice and chilled. Alright, let's make some meatballs. First, I have my heat pot, a little bit of canola oil. I'm going to sweat some onions. I have 1 onion in 1/4-inch dice, rough dice, big dice, whatever you want to do. It's fine. I'm going to season it, a little bit of salt. As you know, salt will help bring out some of the moisture. Stir. Also to this, we're going to add, as soon as this is done, 1 stalk celery and 1 carrot. If you're like me and only have baby carrots in the fridge, that's about 5 or 6 baby carrots. Split it down the length and then just dice it up. We also have about 6 cloves of thinly sliced garlic. And then we have 1 can of whole peeled tomatoes and 1 can of diced tomatoes. Why diced tomatoes? Well, I've only got 1 can of whole tomatoes, so 1 can of the diced. This is the large dice, not the petite, which is perfect. What you want to do is get in here with your hands and just kind of break it up gently, because it will squirt a little bit. You don't have to get it really fine because they will break down when you cook. So for the meatballs themselves, I have 1.5 pound of ground beef. This is actually ground chuck. And this is 1 pound of ground pork, so a total of 2.5 pounds. You can do whatever combination of meat that you want. If it goes in your meatloaf, that combination of meat can be in your meatballs. Meatloaf and meatballs are the exact same thing, just different, slightly different ingredients. If you do oven cooked or pan sauteed meatballs, meatloaf mixture works exactly the same. But this is going to be cooked in a marinara sauce, so it's going to be a little more of a wet. So to that, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of Parmesan Reggiano. This is actually the real stuff. It was on sale at Lucky's this week. I have 3/4 cup of Panko breadcrumbs, Italian style. I have, of course, more chopped garlic, and about 4 eggs we're going to add. So the onions are getting nice and translucent. We're going to add the garlic, all of the garlic. So once the garlic starts to smell fragrant, you can move on to the next step. Oh, it starts to smell really good now. So let that simmer for a second. I'm just going to toss in a couple. These are bay leaves that are really too tiny for me to use, so I'm just going to toss them in a hole. I don't normally do this, but why waste it? Now we're going to add our celery and carrot. That's all cut up. Give that a stir. Again, we're going to season. A little bit of salt, a couple grains of black pepper, which is on the fine setting. That's why it's not grinding so well. All right. Now we're going to dump in our tomato mixture. And then we're going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes or so. Probably not even that long. And if it looks too thick, you can actually thin it out with a little bit of tomato sauce, or you can use water, or you can use a little bit of white wine. White wine is preferable, which I don't have right now. We open rosé instead. Alright, so we have our eggs. One. Oop, did I crack it? Two. Annika's counting in the background. Can you hear her? Alright. 4 eggs. I just kind of break them up with my hand a little bit like that. Okay. Garlic. This is the best part of it. You know, my wife would never make this because she will not put her hands in here. Parmesan Reggiano. Oh, it was so hard not to just snack on the cheese. This is about 2 teaspoons of salt and 3/4 cup of Panko breadcrumbs. Let me rinse my hands real quick. I'm gonna grab some pepper and just kind of grind a little bit of the pepper in there. Using your favorite mixing tools. Let me give the sauce a stir. Best tools ever invented. Lefty and righty. Let's get in there and just kind of fold it all together. You just kind of want to mix it up. Nice. And I also need to take a sip. Are you doing big cheese? Annika, so how does this smell? So for those who don't know, the movie Moana, there are the little coconut people, the kakamora, that talk by doing this. So Annika and I came up with our own language. So this means, that means yummy, right?
Yeah.
How do you say I love you? I love you too. Alright, so cuteness of the day, right? So Annika, I need salt.
Okay.
Right here.
Thank you.
Go ahead and put it in the pot. Gently. Good job. Now, I promised you a little bit, didn't I? Do you have some in there? Did you get any salt for yourself? Okay. Now, we need pepper. You want to turn it? Or are you too busy eating salt? She's a salt connoisseur. There we go. Alright, so we're ready to build the meatballs now. We're going to give this a stir. We're going to make half fist size. I'm going to say scoop size because I don't measure. I just scoop and make a ball. So I know I'm left-handed, so I will try and scoot over a little more so my wife can get in there. Yes, she really is my wife. You just don't get to hear or see her. She does exist. She's a real person, I think. Once you get a nice sized meatball, just kind of like nestle it in. Scoop. Another technique, instead of just rolling around, is to do the toss method. So what this does is actually, so you can roll it, same thing, or you can do this. And this just helps get out some of the air pockets that are in there. Alright, so we're going to let this simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes while they start to cook up and tender up. Meanwhile, I've already cleaned my hands, cleaned up the bowls, and I washed and cleaned my cutting board. I flipped it over. So now, what I like to top off with, besides more Parmesan cheese, is ribbons of basil, also known, I believe it's called a chiffonade. And my wife was all, oh, you're using big words today. I'm like, well, that's what it's called. A chiffonade is you just take basil leaves, You just stack them on top of each other. And I need a really sharp knife, and this is my current favorite. And you just kind of roll them into a little, I don't know if you can see that. Roll them into a little log. And I hope I'm cutting it the right direction. And you just cut thin little strips. And then you get what's in the little ribbons of basil. And this is what we're going to top. Look at that, nice little ribbons of basil.
Can I taste them?
You want to taste one?
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go. This is basil. It's so smelling good, and it's so fragrant, and it's delicious, isn't it? Thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Is it yummy? No. That's I love you. Can you do it again? No. Oh, now you're just making up new words? Okay. Alright, so back to the meatballs.
New words.
So they are simmering now. They've been simmering for a few minutes, so I'm just going to give them a slight little turn. I'm going to rotate the pot. Kind of give them a little bit of a turn. They're not quite cooked yet. They'll take about 20 to 25 minutes, and you'll be able to see as they're done. So we're going to rotate all these, and we're going to let them simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then we'll be back to finish them up. Oh, hey, we're back. I'm sorry. So we've been letting the meatballs simmer, covered. It's been about 20 to 25 minutes. So how can you tell if they're done? You can use your finger, but it's really hot, and that would burn. I'm going to do it anyways. Psych. Just use your spoon, and you can kind of push on the meatballs, and you can see that they're cooked. So I'm going to fish them out. Pop them on the plate. I would use tongs, but I've already washed them and put them away, so that's kind of lazy on my part. So, but actually, you know what? I will use the tongs. Just because, you know, just because. Alright. So we're going to take these out. And you can see a lot of the liquid came out of the meatballs and into the pot. So now we're going to reduce this a little bit. Let's just nestle that down. There we go. Oh, that smells so freaking delicious. Alright, so I'm just going to scrape up the bottom a little bit for any kind of brown bits that may have stuck to the bottom. So I'm going to increase the heat a little bit. I'm going to give it a taste test to see if it needs any additional seasoning. Okay, I'm not going to use that spoon, because the wife will get mad if I did. You know, I'm a guy, so. I think it needs more pepper. Actually, what I think it needs is chili peppers, but I told someone I would not make my chili pepper joke today. So, you didn't see it, but actually I added some more ribbons of basil. I cut up a few more. I'm just going to toss a few in, just to help. And I'm going to let this sauce simmer for about 5 minutes to thicken up. I'm going to do it lid off, so it'll thicken up a little bit, and then we'll be right back. That's really tasty. Hey, we're back. So the sauce has reduced a little bit, as you can see. So for myself, I made some zucchini ribbons with my little spiralizer here using the flat blade. You get these nice little ribbons, and it's just, you know, an alternative to noodles. We're gonna plate up now. So I'm gonna put, and this is raw zucchini noodles, so you don't need to cook them, because the heat from the what do you call it? Meatballs, and the sauce will cook it for you. Sorry, I know it's speaking in slow tone. Just this looks so freaking delicious. So scoop a little bit of the sauce. We're gonna do a little bit of the basil chiffonade. You don't need to use too much of the basil. If you're using Thai basil, use even less because Thai basil's pretty strong. And of course, we need our Parmesan cheese. Just give it a little shave, little shave, little shave, and there we go. We have our meatballs and marinara sauce with a little bit of Parmesan Reggiano and basil. Hope you guys are having a great night. Oh, happy Friday, by the way. Happy weekend. Oh, it's Memorial Day weekend. 3-day weekend. Woohoo! We're about to crack 3 more bottles tonight. You guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy. See you later.